Okay, I want to start off with everyone closing their eyes. Now, think back to when you were in high school, driving to school for the first time, seeing your friends in all your classes, that one cool teacher that everyone knew, the disgusting cafeteria food. Now, think about someone that you knew you didn't like for one reason or another. Think about that someone that didn't like you. Now open your eyes. How did that make you feel? Maybe a little nostalgic at first. Maybe towards the end a little sad. Maybe you were thinking, why was that kid so mean to me? There wasn't even a reason for it. Maybe not. Well, for me, I think about that all the time. In high school, I wasn't really considered the cool, popular kid. Far from it, actually. And don't get me wrong, I didn't want to be. I had my group of friends, and I acted how I wanted, not caring about what other people thought. But because social status is so important at that time in our lives, it meant I was a pretty quiet kid. I was someone who would sit in the back of class, not really speak to anyone, sit through one subject, pack up my books, and go to the next class, walking through the hallways as fast as possible and blaring metal music through my headphones. I was never the best at being social, expressing my ideas, or thinking outside the box. It was my senior year in high school. Everyone at my school was required to take one alt class as part of the curriculum. Everyone except for a select few students that decided to take an engineering course that was 4 years long. I was one of those kids. Now you may be thinking, wait, did he just say he didn't have to take an alt course? And you would be right, I didn't. I had a gap in my senior year that I had to fill, and I went to a K-8 school. Alt was a part of every single year that we went. So I decided to fill it with alt. I mean, I always enjoyed it in middle and elementary school. I still made a drawing or two from time to time, and I missed it. That class was just like you would expect. We would be assigned projects based on artists that we would be studying at the time, using different media like graphite, colored pencil. We even used clay at one point. For each project, we had a rubric to base our piece off of. We would follow some main concepts that we were learning in class and have free range from there. When each project was due, we would return it to a teacher and get a grade back about a week or so later. Since it was only an introductory course, we didn't really have anything like a critique where we could all come together as a class and discuss our works by the end. But we did kind of have informal critiques between each other at a table during the process. In class, we all sat in tables with one person next to us and two people across from us, kind of in like little pods. Being in these small groups, sitting next to and facing one another, combined with the more relaxed style of an alt classroom where music would be playing in the background and there would be no lectures or note-taking on a daily basis. There was a lot of communication between one another. We would talk about what all high schoolers talked about: sports, how annoyingly hard math class was, some random song we found on YouTube the night before, and really anything else. But we would also talk about our pieces. We would talk about what colors to use, maybe whether there needed to be darker values in the shadow of a portrait, or where to position different parts of a collage. We would talk about each other's works, ask if our deskmates liked what we were making, how it could be improved, what could be added or changed. We unknowingly gave ourselves critiques throughout the process of making our art, something that was far more valuable than any of us knew at the time. Through these conversations I had with my classmates, I was learning how to explain my ideas, analyze feedback, and understand both positive and negative criticism. I was slowly evolving my communication skills as well as my listening skills when others were asking me about their pieces. I was learning how to ask the people around me for help more often than I had in the past. And if you remember what I said before, how I was always that kid that would sit in the back quietly, I was honestly just learning how to talk to people in general, especially the people that I would never have talked to if it wasn't for that class. Upon further research that I've done here at Miami, I've learned that all those skills that were starting to be a part of the things that were becoming part of me was famous in the art classroom. Those skills can all be summed up into one term: social emotional learning. Social emotional learning is defined by the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, otherwise known as CASEL, as the process through which children and adults understand and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. Now, that definition's a mouthful, but it has some good points. In essence, social emotional learning is a concept where students are able to learn and develop social skills like communication, listening, and empathy through what's being taught in the classroom. This is a common secondary outcome of the art classroom. Because the art classroom is a place where people can communicate with each other and express themselves in ways that the general education classroom isn't as well known for, the arts in school are paramount to a student's education. I was lucky enough to be involved in the art classroom throughout my entire childhood, but it wasn't until high school, or even college really, where I'd be able to understand the positive impact that it had on me. That high school art class developed my social skills and helped me explain my ideas better in one semester than in 12 years of sitting behind a desk learning about math, science, social studies, and English. And once I went to college and began taking classes where critiques were a part of every single project, I was able to further advance my communication skills and better understand others' points of view. As someone who's going to college to learn how to be an art teacher, I'm glad to say that the arts are becoming more recognized as beneficial to learning, that art is just as important as all the other subjects. Actually, in the state of Ohio, art classes are now considered a part of the core curriculum. Without all the various art classes that I have taken over my 16 years in education, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I wouldn't even be up on this stage now telling my story. Without the arts, I wouldn't have found my passion for teaching. Thank you.